Hey superhumans, Lori here. Welcome to our Freedom Within Wellness channel. Today I want to share some ways to actually ground in the moment and to hopefully bring you some relief of all these things that you're trying maybe to do in order to get the results you want. Today in this video, we are going to focus on grounding techniques that we can use whenever we're in that blue zone on that graph from that self-regulation video on our channel here. Whenever we are up just mildly in that blue zone called freeze or called dorsal vagal, it might be that we're feeling drowsy and we just want to sleep, as in sleep things off. It might be that we're feeling spacey. It might be that we're feeling a bit distant. It might feel that we're very low energy, lethargic, that we just want to go inside. We want to within ourselves. We want to isolate. And we have low energy, we might be feeling depressed. These are all ways that the nervous system acts whenever it's up in that blue zone. So the kind of grounding technique that we need to choose is one that would actually help reverse those chemicals that are really bringing on that shutdown, that isolation, that going inside, that really turning things down. So it has to be something more active. So that's what I'm going to cover today. Is I'm just going to cover some ways of things to do right in the moment. I'm going to begin to do that. And of course, when we can come out into nature, I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just such a fast way to do that. But of course, life doesn't all happen out in nature, and so we need some different ways, and we need some ways that are not pressure on ourselves, don't we? That we don't have to tell ourselves that I'm going to have to get out there and I'm going to have to do this every day, and if I miss it then I'm lost and I can't function. That is coming more almost as a defense mechanism, that we need that for survival. So instead today we're going to talk about what we can do in the present moment and just continue to feel into what we're needing now, and to start listening to ourselves bit by bit and giving ourselves what we need, and that eventually leads us into living more into spontaneity, into really feeling in the moment what's needed instead of having all our time planned. That is also a defense mechanism, isn't it? We feel like it's going to keep us safe if we know exactly how our day is going to go, and then I'm going to do all the things that I'm supposed to do. But that is really another pattern, isn't it? So let's just really give ourselves a break. Let's really listen to ourselves, and let's really key into what I need right now. It might be a hot cup of tea, or it might be something that like a hot bath or a hot shower, or in our case a cold shower here in Thailand. Sometimes as I walk around in this park, I do wonder why it is so soothing for my nervous system. Obviously, I'm out in nature, that's part of it, but I also feel like there's just a really nice soft feel here, and I tend to look for things like that in my life, where it just feels nice, and I don't always know why. So why the need to actually decide on grounding techniques that you like now? That's because when we are ungrounded, the last thing we want to do is to ground, because all the chemicals are pumping in our system by that time, and we are in survival, and it's really difficult to make the decision because our nervous system has always brought us in that direction. Whenever those triggers have hit, it's always gone to that particular defense mechanism of push on, block it off, drift off a little bit in your mind so you don't feel it, or just walk away or go to sleep. And so it's been doing that most of our lives. So of course it's going to be like a big train to turn around in the beginning. So if you already know what grounding techniques work well for you and that you like, then the chances in the moment when you're triggered, if you're really committed to your freedom within, some of the time, eventually all of the time, but in the beginning, just some of the time is really big progress to make that choice. This way you know which grounding technique that you want to do, and so you don't have to figure that out in the moment, which is very not likely to happen. We created these videos showing these grounding techniques out in nature, but it's absolutely not necessary to be out in nature to do these techniques. The idea is that we can do them anywhere, anytime. You may, if you're at work or you're somewhere in public and you're not comfortable doing these techniques in front of people, which is totally understandable. You can just go to a restroom and do these, or you can just find a private place, step outside to do them. And later in other videos, we'll also share some that you can do without anybody even noticing that you're doing anything. Our first grounding technique, we're going to take our left hand or right hand, it doesn't matter which hand, and actually place it on the top back part of the head and just let the weight of your hand, your arm, slowly, easily pull the head down, the chin down towards the chest, so that you feel a nice little stretch in the neck and maybe also in the upper lower back. And then take your other hand and just start tapping up and down from the top back of your head down to the top of the spine and back up, down and up, down and up. You determine how much intensity you want to use. There's all kinds of nerve endings there on the head. So this will really help wake things up, because remember, whenever we are triggered in one of these ways that we talked about, and we're feeling drowsy, we're feeling the tiredness come on, we're feeling the shutdown coming on, we need to do something to really reverse this. So this tapping and moving will help do that. Once you are finished, you can do this for 30 seconds, 1 minute, more if you like. When you're finished, always make sure you stop and you check in with yourself. Has the symptom or the indicator that you were noticing, has it diminished or not? If it has and you're feeling more present, more empowered, if you're feeling even slightly more energy, then you know that this is probably an effective one for you. So you can keep it for your toolbox, for your resource library of grounding techniques for those times that those states start to kick on. Grounding technique number 2 that is good for this kind of disconnection or dissociation, again, is a lot of movement to start to reverse what these chemicals that come on in the freeze zone are doing. So a lot of movement will reverse that. So we're going to swing the arms up and down, front to back, front to back. You can also bounce the knees along with this and just go in the rhythm that feels right for you. And when your arms come down, really let your shoulders drop. When your knees bend, really let the weight in your torso drop. So the more movement you have here, the better. And it's nice to have a nice rhythmical movement as you're going. You decide how high you want to bring up your hands. If you have any issues with your shoulders, you may want to be careful and not go up as high or swing them side to side. It can truly be any movement. These are just ideas for you. And of course, when you finish, you always stop and do a check-in. We need to know if it was something that was effective for you or not. If you do feel more energy, you feel better, then this is another one to add to your toolbox. So my suggestion to you is that just give this 2 days of each time you notice when you're a bit disconnected, daydreaming, the mind's away, you're spacey, you're foggy, you're getting drowsy, whatever the sign is, that you actually make the choice to get up and do this. If you're sitting at your desk working, if it's in the morning whenever you wake up, and this is where it can really kick in. We kind of wake up and we kind of take on all our baggage again, and we start to lose motivation, and we just start to feel lethargic, and it just kind of, the longer we stay in bed, the worse it gets. The chemicals increase. But the second that we get up, even though it's the last thing we want to do, and we just incorporate some of these grounding techniques, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a change. You may also want to throw water on your face. Just feel into what these grounding techniques can be. These are just examples. See at the end of the day, on both days that you try this, how you're feeling at the end of the day. Are you feeling any more present, any more alive, any more alert, any more empowered, or maybe just feeling just a little lighter inside, or just a bit of it, almost like a smile inside. Some people will describe it as like a little bit of joy that can't really be described. If this is what you're feeling, then isn't this a reason to continue to take this simple way versus all of the other things that we can push ourselves to try and do every day to feel well, when we can choose right in that moment to return to a more grounded place? This is a super empowering experience. It is life-changing. It is really turning a big train around and really reversing some patterns that have been bringing on the same results over and over again. And because this is changing within you, within your nervous system, what you are attracting in your world has to match that, because it's a complete mirror. So just watch what happens and enjoy. Thanks, Lois, for joining me today. Tune into how you feel right now. If you feel good, if you feel encouraged, if you feel a relief, then please continue to join us. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to hear a lot more about how perhaps how you've been living life is really in a pattern that maybe is not really helping you have those amazing breakthroughs and feeling your freedom within the way that you'd like. It's an honor and a privilege for me to share here. I'm back to my walking now. I wish you a fantastic day, and look forward to sharing with you again soon. Sawadee ka. Bye-bye.